Oh god, anyway. How come nobody told me until now? Why did you guys not tell me? You guys are terrible people. You guys were sitting there laughing at me this whole time. Terrible. Anyway, we are going to be seeing HoeJJa come out for KT Rolster, the player who has the distinction of being the most mocked by me on my stream. It's pretty impressive prize, feat, achievement, whatever. And he's going to be playing against Terminator. This is Speed, right? Is this Speed? No, it's not Speed. These Protoss. Who are all these people? Oh, it's Sang. Thank you. Freaking T8 rookies. God damn. Ah, oh, stupid no-name player is making me look bad. Anyway, so I'm just gonna call him Sang, because Terminator is Flash and not him. Look at this kid. He's like he's a Flash wannabe, just picking the ID Terminator. No, dude, you're not the Terminator. Flash is the Terminator. Friggin' rookies. No respect. No respect. Somebody's asking me to turn the sound up. I don't want it to be too loud, but I'll turn it up a little bit. I don't want to have to talk over the Korean commentators too much, as I say like every other game. Anyways, here we go. So yeah, somebody's already said it in the chat, but basically HoeJJa, alright, HoeJJa last season, in the regular season, he was like not good. He was like 1-3 or something. So, you know, not showing very good performance, and then in the playoffs, he went undefeated. He was actually undefeated in the playoffs. Like, him and Action just tore it up. And HoeJJa does have a reputation for that also from previous seasons, where he'll kind of like be mediocre in the regular season, but then as soon as his team gets to the playoffs, he just like transforms into this monster. I think it's kind of like, you know, in all the Dragon Ball Z episodes, you know, the characters don't actually power up to their maximum form unless they absolutely have to. So like, you know, it's like the final battle, and then, you know, it's like do or die, and they just reveal another power level that they've been hiding the entire time. Like, that's kind of what HoeJJa does. Anyway, he's gonna be the Zerg player at the top left, I think that was? Yeah, top left. And Sang, aka Terminator, is gonna be the red Protoss at the top right. This is a must-win situation for both teams! Oh my god! Okay, that didn't make any sense. It's a best of 3 in Brood Wars, so whoever wins this game will take the Brood Wars set, and then we will go on to the StarCraft 2 set. And now somebody says I should turn down the background sound. You know what, I am going to turn it down. I think it's better for it to be too low than too high. And it seemed to be fine the way it was before, so I'm going to ignore you haters. Anyway, Sang doing the standard scout with the pylon probe. Gonna scout in the wrong direction though, unfortunately for him. Meanwhile, the Overlord is going in the right direction. A non-standard Overlord scouting direction by HoeJJa. Usually you scout towards the closer natural, but HoeJJa's actually going towards the farther away natural. As you can see, his Overlord's kind of moving over there, but I think that's actually fine because he's gonna send a second Overlord to the bottom left anyway, so I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. And pretty Korean girls, or they might be, I don't know, I can't see their faces. This is like cowering behind their hands until the camera goes away. They're like so scared. Every time I see that, I'm just reminded of like those, you know, tribal clans that think that if you get your picture taken, it steals your soul or something. I don't know. Maybe Korean girls actually think that. They're just trying to protect their souls. Either way, it was a 12 hatch from Mr. HoeJJa. Forge first here from dude. Oh, got him! Got him! Wait, is that a handheld TV? Are they like watching Pro League on TV while being at the studio? Is there like some Pro League Inception going on here? That's kind of interesting. Anyway, that's so mean. Like, they were trying so hard to hide their faces, and then like they just pick a different camera guy from a different angle and get it anyway. That's pretty mean. That's pretty dirty. These freaking camera guys. Look, we're doing it again! Again! The same girls. They should just like wear masks or something. Dude, all the Korean girls should just go in like Phantom of the Opera masks. How awesome would that be? Or no, like the V for Vendetta things, the Guy Fawkes mask. They should all wear the Guy Fawkes mask. That'd be so funny. See all these girls wearing that. Oh god. I'm also a little bit concerned because so far we've tried like the two kind of front/side camera angles. So the natural progression of this, you know, camera harassment is to go and get a shot from the back. So yeah, take that as you will. Lawsuit incoming. Anyway, looks like third base going down for HoeJJa at the bottom left natural. And this probe guy is still alive. Still hasn't taken any hull damage. Just going to recharge his shields while it runs around. Meanwhile, one cannon actually quite far back from the gateway and forge. I know I said last game, so I was talking last game about how, you know, it's pretty standard to build it 1 or 2 hexes back, but that looks quite far away. I'm a bit curious about that one. Anyway, natural gas now being taken by what's his face, and he's going to make his target at the natural actually. So the overload that's in the main base is not going to see that until he waltzes over to the natural, which he probably will do. It's pretty standard for the Zergs to check that. Interestingly, the overlord has actually not gone all the way into the main either, though. I'm a little bit curious about what HoeJJa is doing with that overlord, although the observer's not really showing it. The overlord is actually moving away from the main base. And looks like we actually have +1 air weapons now on the cybernetics core. So, what's his face? Sang, Terminator, gonna go for some heavy Corsair play here. HoeJJa, meanwhile, hasn't done anything out of the ordinary, just gone for a Spire, probably gonna get some Scourge, and then do the standard 5-hatch Hydra transition. See, he hasn't taken a second gas yet, so it's unlikely going to be Mutalisks, or if it is Mutas, it's gonna be quite delayed. In the meantime, Citadel being made. So yeah, this is going to be 1 Stargate Corsair. It's not going to do any crazy 2 Stargate business, and is now just working his way up to Templars. There's a 4th hatchery, and we're probably going to see a 5th hatchery at the bottom left natural there to be or to make a bit of a sim city. Looks like the overlord actually, it was moving out of the base, but now it moves back. He is actually going to see the spinning cybernetics core, so now HoeJJa knows that it is going to be +1 Corsairs coming his way, so he's going to be able to prepare for that. I would like to see a second cannon at least at the front there, maybe not yet, but I think because of this Corsair focus, he's going to need at least 1 or 2 more cannons out the front so he doesn't die to any kind of crazy Hydra bust. Although it doesn't look like HoeJJa's doing anything like that anyway, so maybe not. Maybe he'll be fine. Yeah, HoeJJa's just making drones. Drone. And some Zergs doing a little bit of a dance there at the front. Now, one thing to note, by the way, is that because we're on HoeJJa, it definitely favors taking that far away natural as your third rather than a close third because of that reduced gas value of the thirds, and that's definitely a change I think that was made to help Zergs out, because Zergs can take that, you know, far away natural as a third quite safely. Like, that's a pretty standard thing to do. Whereas like for the Protoss player now, if Sang takes his third at the 12, he's not gonna have as much gas, even though he has a third base, so it's not very nice for him. Also, the natural mineral lines are much more easy to harass by Mutalisks, as you can see. That might have been why, or part of the reason why, Sang is going for a Corsair build, so that he can help defend against that stuff. Because if you look at the natural, the minerals are pressed right against the edge of the cliff there, so there's no space for cannons back there, or it's going to be difficult to get units even back to defend. Anyway, looks like 1DT is moving out. I think HoeJJa's actually seen this, so he's running his lings away. Overlord, slow Overlord actually, making his way over to the natural. Interesting that Overlord speed isn't finished quite yet. I would imagine that it's at least being researched right now. Oh, is he going to be able to trap the Dark Templar? Oh, he barely does get it! Wow, nice little trap there. Only loses 2 lings for that Dark Templar. You can see Sang not too happy about that. But it's a nice play from HoeJJa. And HoeJJa, meanwhile, is actually taking his 4th base at the bottom left main there. I mean, that's also what taking that far away natural third lets you do, is you basically give yourself a free 4th base going into the mid/late game, which is very, very nice. See, all you have to do is make this nice little sim city, this nice little defensive sunken spore setup at the natural, and you get a nice base. So I feel like, I don't know, I'm actually not sure what would be best for Sang right now. To take that, I mean, like taking that fast, I'd usually be in favor of taking a fast third as a Protoss, but given the reduced gas value, it seems very weird to me. I'm not really sure how that plays out, because you just get run out of gas so much faster, and gas is really what you want. Anyway, one thing actually checking this out, probably going to kill that probe in fact. It's going to be quite annoying. It's just delay that expansion a little longer. But the Corsair is moving around, killing a few overloads here and there. Is it actually just me, or is overload speed still not finished? I wasn't paying attention. Let me actually have a look at this. Yeah, overload speed is actually still not finished. I think that's why, or part of the reason why HoeJJa's gone for these 4 colonies, because even when the Protoss is going for +1 Slayers, if he's only going 1 Stargate, you don't necessarily need 4 colonies. Like, it's a good idea, just to be safe. But some players will just opt to, you know, build a bunch of Hydras and just defend it that way, or Scourge. But yeah, with that overload speed, that's very curious. I don't know why, because he saw the +1 Stairs so early. Like, I'm quite surprised that he still doesn't have overload speed. In the meantime, ooh, one Corsair getting taken down, and looks like we're in Sang's first person view here, rather. Score calling, gonna get a few shots off there. And now the 3rd base going up for Sang, but I think the 4th base is probably already finished for HoeJJa. Meanwhile, we have a Robo on the way as well, there at the natural. So if he wants to make any beavers from that, he can just have them right there at the wall. They're probably just gonna be observers for now. And actually, it looks like Lurker's already out. So he's contained by 1 Lurker. I think that Lurker would probably be better suited to going to that 3rd base and denying that expansion. But it might be a bit risky now to unburrow it and move it there, because Sang would be able to snipe it before it burrows again. Meanwhile, a lot of Scourge are out. Oh man, he's actually on an intercept course. He's got the brain hacks on. He knows where the Corsairs are going. Oh no, he's missing. Oh no, the Corsairs changed direction. He's gonna get 1. Oh man, he went for the interception and just completely missed. Oh god. Alright, whatever. Oh, he might get 1 anyway. Oh, does catch 1. But more importantly, like, the rest of the Corsairs are going to get away, and now Sang knows that there's like a really high Scourge count, so he's going to be a lot more careful building another cannon there at the front. Good idea. Meanwhile, Hive is already on the way for HoeJJa, so it looks like we are just going to go to a late game PvZ here. And looks like 4th base. Got about 1 drone per patch there, that's fine. Zergs generally don't have a very high saturation. And it's quite funny seeing the difference between you know, Brood War Zerg and SC2 Zerg, because without the larva injects, actually, in Brood War, you are a lot more limited on your larva count, so you can't just build like a million, you know, drones or Zerglings without having a ton of hatcheries as well. So the drone saturations are generally much lower in Brood War in your bases. And that's completely fine, because Zerg doesn't need like an insane drone count to be able to produce their units. They got nice cheap dudes. In the meantime, looks like Protoss army, Grand Army is moving around on the map. Just gotta be a little bit careful. Where's this High Templar? Does he not have a High Templar? He's got an Archon with that army. I don't know why he doesn't have a single High Templar. Like, without High Templar, Protoss Gateway armies are generally very inefficient against mass Hydras. They just get and by inefficient I mean they just get completely slaughtered by mass Hydras. Like, Zealot Goons with just an Archon, that's not a strong unit composition. You really need those Psystorms to support. But it looks like he's going to start doing this annoying tactic where he's going to range this hatchery that's part of the city with his Dragoons. It's a pretty common trick when, you know, the Protoss is has the map control, but it looks like a lot of Lings actually being produced here by HoeJJa. He's actually going for run by, not going to try and defend or attack, but only 6 Lings do manage to get through after running the gauntlet. It looks like 1 random Lurker also trying to do its part. Sang was actually thinking about taking that 3 o'clock base, but the Lings that running there are probably going to be able to deny that. I think there was only 1 Zealot, but a lot of gateways for Sang. Holy gateways, Batman! I think he's going up to like 12 gateways in total. And a really nice gateway positioning, by the way. It looks kind of funky, but it's pretty efficient. And looks like, yep, Lings here. Are they going to get the pylon? Boom! Cracklings with some insane DPS. So Sang now is at 151 supply against the 103 of HoeJJa, has a 50 supply lead, you know, and is setting up his 4th base. He's got kind of map control, but the thing is, HoeJJa's already got his hive tech up, so, you know, HoeJJa, if he can do some nice Defiler plays, or I don't know, just Mass Ultra or something, he's basically gonna have to make use of this hive tech, because otherwise I think he is a little little bit behind right now. I mean, generally Zerg is a little bit behind of Protoss in supply at this point anyway, and that's fine. And also it's still 4 base against 3. Like Sang hasn't actually made his 4th base yet, but man, doing a good job with this army, just constantly putting on pressure, just changing targets, moving around the map, just abusing the long range of those Dragoons, picking off this hatchery at the front. He might be able to pick off that Evolution Chamber. If he can stop an upgrade, that'd be really nice. Looks like a lot of Scourge wasted on just one Corsair. Sang, I don't think he should commit though. I don't think he should be run in here. A lot of links flooding out of the Nidus and the larva there, and there are lurkers in good positions. I really think this is going to be cost inefficient for him to attack into this, but he does have a very significant Dragoon count there. It might work out, I'm not sure. I don't know, it's dangerous though. The Defilers are there, there's no Dark Swarm yet though, but when Dark Swarm goes down, those Dragoons are going to be all but useless. Or not all but, they will actually be useless. They'll just be like really expensive meat shields. And I think you should actually target down the Evolution Chamber and run away, because that's probably upgrading something. Yep, he's going to do that. Oh, no, he's not going to run away though, he's actually just going to keep going. I don't think I agree with this, because, you know, he had a big army, but this is not a very cost-efficient way to fight. And as a Protoss, you want to be cost-efficient against Zerg, and a Plague on the Dragoons, only gets 4 Dragoons, is not so bad, but I think that might actually help him out, especially with the reinforcements coming from the main base there. And yeah, it looks like HoeJJa actually staying on very cheap units, staying on the tier 1 Hydralisks and Zerglings, and with Defiler support, so an interesting strategy from HoeJJa, but he's getting this base busted down. You know, I was saying how it's not a good idea to keep attacking here, but Sang is somehow making this work, just the constant, non-stop aggression with these Dragoons, but with those Defilers there, I just can't imagine this going well, you know, if he keeps going for the next 5 minutes or something. However, he does have a massive supply lead now, almost 100 supply ahead of his opponent. 170 supply against 78 of HoeJJa. I don't actually know why he's that far ahead. Like, I don't think HoeJJa's made any glaring mistakes this game, but I guess it just must be a lot of small things adding up, and Sang is actually in a very, very nice position right now. Meanwhile, also getting his 4th base up. A few lings there, but the cannon's already finished. There are a handful of Zealots as well. I would like it if he left a High Templar there as well. It's generally a very good idea to leave at least 1 High Templar so that, you know, if a million lings do run into your base, just to get a couple of good storms off and you're fine. The Zealot's actually not particularly good against Cracklings, especially when the Cracklings are well upgraded. The Zealots actually just become relatively inefficient. Like in the mid game, Zealots actually, oftentimes you have, you know, better attack upgrades than your opponent has Carapace, so the Zealots will do very nicely against the Zerglings. But once the Zerglings get their adrenal glands and it's late game, and you know they have their +3 Carapace, it's very, Zealots actually become very cost inefficient against them. You need some Archons or other splash damage support. They're not bad by any means, but they're not very good either. Anyway, Nexus almost finished now, and looks like a few more units joining that defense force, so I do like that. So now it's going to be 4 base against 4 base, and that's just going to put HoeJJa further and further behind. Also, Sang is basically maxed now, so he can spend all his additional money now on gateways, on tech, or I guess he's got most of his tech already, but you know he can start, you know, adding on some Reaper tech. That's very good to, you know, transition going into late game in PvZ, or just like expanding a bunch, whatever he wants really. Looks like HoeJJa trying to take his 5th base here at the left side, going to get spotted by Zilla, and now the big Protoss army is going to move in. If you're unaware, by the way, why Reavers are so good in late game PvZ, they do full damage under Dark Swarm, the Scarabs do. And of course with all that massive splash and just the massive base damage, they're just really, really nice against Zerg units. You can just blow up so many things with just a single Scarab. And it looks like some Zerglings moving in here, but there's a bunch of Zealots ready to defend. And even though I said Zealots weren't particularly good against Cracklings, here they go. But there's going to be a drop here at the 3 o'clock base. Lurkers and Lings dropping all over this. There's a decent amount of cannons, but no High Templar. Sang did not take my recommendation. And now look at this. There's Dark Swarms down. So the cannons, well, it looks like the Lings actually weren't under the Swarms, and the army was there anyway, so never mind. That did not go nearly as well as I thought it would, but, well, yeah, I'm actually not sure what HoeJJa can do right now. Like, Sang's taking a 5th base, and he can't even take his own. Like, Sang's actually going to be ahead of expansions in a PvZ. just completely backwards from what it should be. A nice point by Haram, by the way, which is that even though Sang has 4 bases at the moment, 2 of his bases have the reduced gas value. The 12 o'clock and the lower 3 o'clock base both have that reduced 1,500 value gas geyser rather than a full 5k gas geyser, so he's going to mine out on those relatively quickly. So I think, you know, obviously that's going to affect his unit composition. He'll probably just have to add more gateways, get more zealots, which are really not what you want going into the late game. You really want those gas units, the Archons, the Reaver, the High Templar, etc. And oh, another plague going off, catching a few zealots and dragoons, very nice. I think there might actually have been 2 plagues there from 2 different defilers. There are 2 defilers there. So there was actually quite a few units that got caught. Meanwhile, a shuttle going in here. What is it? Oh, Debo, it's going to be a Reaver harass. He's trying to deny this base, going to, well, kill a couple of Zerglings there. And looks like the ground army poking here a little bit at the bottom left and going to go for the 9 o'clock again to deny that expansion. Meanwhile, the Reaver going into the natural. Is he going to get any good shots off? Oh, it's actually a Storm! Getting, looks like just 3 drones, and also getting some Hydras, and the Scarab goes off. Looks like we're getting a little bit blocked by the OGN overlay there. But nice little harassment there from what's his face? Sang. Sorry guys, I'm getting a little bit out of it. I woke up at 4 AM to cast this, and it is now 20 past 8. So if I start going delirious and like calling people random things, then I do apologize. I will try and call them things that at least vaguely make sense. So for example, Byung. If I call him B-Dog, at least you know who I'm talking about. Anyway, looks like, oh, Speechel going to rejoin with the rest of the army. I think there's still a Reaver in there, is there? Yeah, there still is. Oh, 2 Reavers actually. 2 Reavers is better than 1, but uh-oh, looks like he's going to get a big surround off, and actually the Protoss ground forces are surprisingly small right now. I think Sang's macro failing him a little bit here. He's focused too much on doing that fancy harassment. I mean, he was basically doing a harassment at the natural and a ground attack on the, well, I guess the 5th, so apparently unable to macro at the same time. That's alright, I can't macro either, so, you know, who am I to judge? Who am I to judge? Oh man, what a lucker, what a luck box. Could you imagine, there were 2 Reavers in there. If he had hit those skirts, that would have been awful. But HoeJJa, you know, guys, may I remind you, HoeJJa was down 100 supply at one point. He was down to 70 supply against 170, and he has now narrowed the gap to about a 40 supply difference. So, you know, still a bit of a ways to go, but HoeJJa, man, doing some good play here. I think though that this is more Sang's poor play than it is HoeJJa's amazing play. I don't think HoeJJa's done anything like particularly genius. Like, he's doing some good defiler, you know, doing some good defiler usage, doing some nice counterattacks, but this is more like Sang is just not very good in the late game, I'm afraid. I mean, he is one of Team 8's rookie players, so you can't really fault him. Like, I didn't really expect him to be, you know, to show us, you know, the like Bisu level PvZ, but this is a little bit disappointing for him to have kind of dropped the ball here with his advantage. Like, I can realistically see him losing this game from this point. You know, even though he's got 1,000,000 bases, his army control has not been particularly impressive. And oh man, but it looks like HoeJJa wasn't paying attention, losing that 5th base to the 2 DTs. But he is taking the 6 o'clock base as well, and there is an attack mounting on the bottom right. No, it looks like not quite. I think the problem is going to be that it's a split map situation, and in late game PvZ, Protoss is generally going to be much more cost efficient just by the nature of the races. So if the map does get mined out and we just have the split map thing, then it is going to favor Sang here. But it looks like a nice play going on. The 2 Archons getting taken down, but I mean, HoeJJa's still stuck on like Hydra Lurk, and oh man, those clumped Reaver, or the clumped Lurkers, there's going to be a storm. There's no storm, luckily for him. A storm on all those clumped Lurkers would have been amazing, but the Reavers will do a decent job of it anyway. Oh god, he should run those away. Run! Run, Lurkers! Oh god, Reavers are imbalanced. Oh man. Oh, he killed one though, so that's good, but then he just lost like 10 Lurkers. Oh my god, Reavers, Lurkers, whatever. They're all imbalanced actually. Every unit in StarCraft is imbalanced in its own special little way, and oh, it looks like we have some more Hydras and Lings coming in here and whittling down the Protoss army. And you know, even though these trades seem to kind of favor the Protoss, like Protoss always comes out with units in the end, HoeJJa's making relatively cheap units. Like, he lost a bunch of Lurkers there, sure, but otherwise he's generally been making Hydras and Lings. And if you just throw those away, that's not as big a deal. If you actually look at his bank right now, he's banking almost 4,000 gas. So basically what's going to happen is he's going to keep wearing down the Protoss army with these very cheap units and relatively efficient units. And then all of a sudden he's going to use all of his gas and minerals to just make like 20 Ultralisks and just instantly win the game. That's what I'm predicting here. Or he just has bad macro, one or the other, but I'm going to give him some credit. Anyway, looks like DTs, man. Apparently really good in this game as well. Look at this, the Overlord not even in range. Okay, looks like just now. I wish they would click the DTs to show us the kill counts, but oh well. You can't have everything in life. So, yeah. This is so funny because, like, Sang has half the bases, and yet he's, like, such a smaller bank than HoeJJa. And I think this is definitely part of that reduced gas value at the third bases coming into play here. There's just not that many resources on this map in general. I was actually concerned about this. When they announced the map changes, I was just thinking, like, if it goes to a super late game, there's just not many resources on the map. Like, there's only 12 bases on the map in total anyway, and then you're going to take away some resources at those bases. It's like, what? Really? I was actually quite surprised with those changes, but anyway, looks like Archon guy being a badass. Look at that Archon go. Archons, of course, do one-shot Zerglings, which I actually only learned recently. I never really thought about it before. Previously, I was just like, yeah, Archons are good against Zerglings, but now I'm like, hey, they actually one-shot Zerglings. Boom. Or they do if they have attack upgrades, that is. Wow, Storms and Reavers are pretty good against Zerglings, guys. If you weren't sure, now you know. Reavers and the High Templars, man, they're pretty darn good. Anyway, X-Pack, yeah, see X-Pack, dude, 2-player maps of 10 bases, which is, wait, oh, wait, whatever, dude, but they're 2-player maps, go away, go away. I just tried to argue and then I realized I can't, my brain is not fully functional. I can't time out him either because he's a mod. It's terrible. Friggin' mods talking back to me. How dare they? How dare they? Anyway, looks like a few Zergy dudes gonna get picked off here in the middle of the map. HoeJJa trying to do some fancy micro, and it looks like even though it was looking like he might make a comeback here, unfortunately, it's just not gonna happen. I mean, he's once again down 100 supply, and now that Protoss has established all his bases, Sang can just be constantly aggressive now. He doesn't need to worry about setting up new expansions. He doesn't need to worry about defending, or at least not too much. He can just leave like a few cannons and a Reaver at each base, and he should be fine. Now he's just gonna go on the offensive here with 3 Reavers and a bunch of Archons. HoeJJa coming in from the back, but he's gonna get stormed on the approach here. And even if he doesn't, just the Archon Zealot Reaver combo is just way too powerful. It's looking like Team 8 is going to take the Brood War set here. Double shuttles running in. Oh my god. Oh no, drones! Drones! Drones attacking Reavers. Oh my god. Talk about an unfair matchup there. Drones versus Reavers. Oh dude. GG from HoeJJa and Sang, the rookie Protoss from Team 8, taking down HoeJJa, who was the hero of last season's playoffs for KT Rolster. Team 8 looking very happy there, taking a much needed semi-victory. They haven't won the series just yet, but this is the first step. Very good stuff.